see if we're up and at 'em. We'll dive into today's episode. We'll get some artwork done. I think my microphone is out of reach. There we go. Doodle's back on board. Give me a minute here to do some updates. Hey, yeah, it looks like we're live. So let me check my volume level here. Hey, yeah, it looks like we're live. So let me check my volume level here. Hey, yeah, it looks like we're live. Yeah, okay, that's good enough. Cool, we'll drop that down, and I'm going to grab my link here. Give me a minute. If you're catching this in the future, Aftermath, you can skip ahead a minute, I guess. This is the piece that we're going to be working on today. We're going to continue working on this. Give me a second here to do a social media drop with this thing, and just to post that live. So let's grab this here like that, copy, and we'll come back over to here. And then bloop. All right, cool. Posts. Get this out of the way. Copy. Paste. And there. Okay, cool. So let me introduce myself here. Hey, my name is Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them and I publish them online. And I have I've been DMing Dungeons and Dragons since 1987. I've been a freelance artist. Well, I mean, I've always done art. That's kind of how freelance artists start. But I've been doing professional work since 1999. I've been using Eberron as my homebrew campaign of choice since 2006, and I've been designing for 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, publishing on DMsGuild since 2017. So, but I've never actually created a published adventure. So that's what we're doing right now. What you can see here on the screen is the cover for the adventure that we're creating, Crystals of Mabar. It is for pressing buttons here real quick. It's for 4 to 5 characters, level 7 to 8. You can end at level 9 at the end of the adventure. You can start as early as level 6 if you want to do all of the content that's in the adventure, but some of it's optional, so you certainly aren't obligated. On the X Twitter platform, I'm at Phil Kearney. You can catch me on the X Twitter platform as well if you want to get notifications, coupons, information about what I got going on. Here on YouTube, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon to get notifications of when I am live in the future, which is frequently. Here's a bunch of books that I've created. The full 320 episodes of the playlist are here. We created the cover around episode 40. All the maps and stuff that we built out for the entire adventure. I'm currently working on layouts off screen. I've shown a couple quick looks at that. Once we complete the layouts off screen, we're going to bring it on screen, and we'll be importing pages into Photoshop. We'll be taking all the map token assets that we produce and populating the document with those images, and then whatever space is left over on the page, we're going to create more illustrations directly on the page of the book and upload that into the document. When it's all done, we'll seal it up and put it on DMsGuild. Here's some other works that I've done on DMsGuild. Spelljammer Combat and Exploration is pretty much what it explains. Is a deep dive into combat and exploration options for the Spelljammer campaign. Color Magic Spell Point variant rules converts the 8 schools of magic into the 5-color magic paradigm of Magic the Gathering. Replaces spell slots with a mana system that can be tapped and spent to create different spells and magical effects. Spell Point Warlocks is at 500 sales currently. If everything goes correctly, the next sale will make it a gold bestseller, and that is amazing for me. It'll be my first. If you spend at least $1 on it, it is pay what you want, but it's got about a 50% sale rate, which is insane. Pacts and Patrons uses Spell Point Warlocks to and reimagines all of the different guilds of Ravnica as otherworldly patrons that you can form a guild pact with to become a guild mage in the Ravnica setting. That makes a lot of sense for people that know MTG. And then ability check casting. Anyone can cast a 9th level spell, but will you do it right, and can you survive? So that's some of the fun stuff we have in here. Be welcome to stick around. I'm here Monday through Friday in the morning creating artwork like this. I have a design stream that I run as well. That is that'll be today as well as Friday. Thursday night, I do a design stream, sometimes on Mondays as well, and Saturday morning. So the new 2024 Player's Handbook is out. I am in the process of converting the martial power system and the color mana system. All the books I've done, I can update for 2024, and I'm really excited about some of the new design opportunities that are presented in that. I think... I think I'm gonna go. I think I want to grab like a muddy off-white here, just like a cotton, just mildly off, like that. I think that's a color that I want to use. Beard, hair, clutter, hat, shirt, leather, duster. I'm going to go with this cottony off-white color for the undershirt so that I can have some variety in pants down here, and I can add in some of that color down here just to create some contrast and variety. And that gives us cufflinks and stuff that can be colored in as well. Let's get rid of that. Replace it with this. I'm going to call this one pants. I'm going to call this one shirt. There we go. Shirt as where is flesh? Skin. There. And then shirt. We're doing flats right now. These are in the comic book industry. This is just the base color, and then we'll be adding highlights over it. There, let's go back to our pants here. Fill that in like that. Good. Yeah, that's a nice little pop. I like that. I need a I want to make a wooden pipe, so let's go here and let's go to wooden pipe. Yeah, like that. Copy image. Go up here. Sure. For transform. Thank you. Grab that pipe color here. Let's just go with something like that. Then let's go to here and go so now that we have the 2024 handbook, I am going to, here, let's do this, base color, and let's go grab that highlight real quick. Highlight, there we go, good stuff. Yeah, now that the 2024 handbook is everywhere, I have access to it. I own it now on D&D Beyond. Well, I have access to it on D&D. I paid to have access to it on D&D Beyond. I'm fine with that expense as a creator. I need to have access to it. But we're going to start updating the Martial Powers document that we've been creating for 2024. I've paused playtesting as I integrate the new rules. I'm actually really... I will say this, as a DM, I am far less excited about the mechanics than I am as a designer. From a design perspective, I like 2024 a lot. It locks down a lot of variables, it simplifies some of the language. It legitimately is a good upgrade for design. For players, as a player DM, it's busy. It's got a lot going on. I like it less because it feels like it's going to slow down the game. I personally am leaning more towards a system like getting more interesting, going back to my Beckme roots. We'll see how that serves me in the future. But when I playtest, I have to use raw, rules as written. I have to use the raw rulings so that the game that I build is going to play properly, the mechanics that I introduce. I can't use variant rules on top of variant rules on top of variant rules to create a different game system unless I'm specifically going out to build a different game system that integrates all these rules together. I am currently using the D&D game chassis to build the supplements that I do on DMsGuild, because DMsGuild, that's what you do. So here, this is what I wanted to get rid of. Beard. Here. So while I'm creating content on DMsGuild, I am content with using the 2024 rules as written. I've been designing my own game that I've been playtesting with my home table. That is a system like Beckme sort of game. That's like half Beckme, half Cypher. That's basically all ability checks, and how you use the ability checks determines your character's progress with damage or overcoming a challenge or whatever. It's a Cypher-esque, like an inverted Cypher system. So that's what I prefer to use at my home table currently, but I'm perfectly comfortable running 5e raw, and I have to if I'm going to playtest stuff. So that's interesting that we have that. That I have that need. Anyway, so we have all of this is pretty much set. I know that these bibs and bobs here could stand to have more color to them. But that is not what I'm currently going to do. I'm pretty happy with it as it sits. I'm going to duplicate the layer here. No, I'm not going to do that. That's not the way I'm going to do it. Now let's go back into here. We're going to add highlights and shadows and potentially some texture to it. So I'm going to take the trash layer and I'm going to overlay it on top of the line art layer. See how much texture gets added into the piece when I do that? That I can potentially use some of this texture to alter the character. So what I'm going to do is, this is not the proper time to use this. I am keeping this in mind though, but I like this added texturing, which is why I like keeping these layers. Like, this ages all the fabric on it. It simplifies the amount of texture that I need overall, I believe. But until I get to that point, I want to let's take that actually and duplicate that layer and then merge that group. And we'll take our trash, we'll drop it back down to the trash file here. But I'm going to do a quick outline here to clean that up. Just doing a run through, because when I start, I don't need to merge it down yet. But when now that I'm going to start adding color to the start doing the highlighting and stuff, having all this extra grit is useful to help inform where I want to add shade and stuff like that. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and put this in here, and I'm taking the few moments to clean this up like that. These are all the iterations and sketches and stuff that I did when I first created. And then as I go through if you've watched the other videos, you can see how I go through the process of basically locking down the specific lines, because we have both just the black and white version that's easy for printing. It's not very imaginative. There you go. You can just print that out, and you can have that token on your home table if you want it. And then we have the color version here for in the book and for virtual tabletop, and of course you can print that out if you want to murder your printer with a ton of color printing. You're welcome to do so. And thank you if that's something you're interested in doing. But yeah, so I can so the line art is clean and simple. It's raw black white, but this is the color. Yeah, color, adding texture, using all the pieces of the illustration that I had. I'm not wasting the design stuff. That's why I wanted to keep it, or instead of like getting rid of it. It's like, now that I have the line art, I don't need that anymore. It's like, no, I want to use all that earlier iterations as versions, as it's self-created texture that's relevant to the piece I'm creating directly. Like look at all of that grit that's going on inside of the piece. I think that's fantastic. So I'm going to leave that be as it is. We're going to go back into color here, and we're just going to we're going to drop all the color out of here. Burp. Shirt overlay. Where do I want to start? Maybe I should start at the top, huh? Nah, let's start at the bottom. I will leave this up though. And I need to make the duster go. There we go. Okay, cool. So that's our set. I think I want to fade this. I'm going to call this layer texture line, and then I want to technically the texture goes underneath in the color layer, so we'll just do it like that. Bloop, blop. There we go. All right, now we're all organized. So B-dub. Once I get the texturing, actually. Yeah, let's leave that invisible for now. Let's just go with what we got, and we'll go to here. I'm going to grab the darker color here. Let's keep that clean. And down here, what'll happen when we finish doing the darkening? I'm doing this wrong. first off, I want to get rid of this. I want to get rid of this too. Yeah, that feels good. Let's go with whoop. Zoom in. 2. There. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's gonna work out. Okay, cool. Shirt, pants. There we go. And we grab pant color here. Back on task. So let's do this. Like that. Fill in the gaps. This is just we're doing shadow first, and then we're gonna do highlights over. I'm not using my layering. So we gotta go back. Come on, Turkey. I just said, come on, Turkey, like my dad. I'm dadding. Don't mind me dadding over here. It's dadacious. There. We'll do like that. We have the base layer, and then we have an extra layer for the lighting effects that we're working on here. This is the way. There you go, buddy. There I am. Hey guys, I'm back. Just adding some folds in here, make it look pant-like. Pretty easy to do. That feels good. That's weird. Star skin, duster. Oh, I was on the wrong layer. That's why. Merge down. Leather duster here. here. That feels pretty good. Good, that feels good. Cool, okay, great. So that's fine, and now we'll add another layer for highlights. So we'll be here and here. Just push this a little bit further. It's very mild highlighty stuff here. Very, very minor. Okay, cool. So that all sits nicely. I can pants here. Then shirt will drop down. And maybe we'll push it into the blue a little bit for the shadow. Most of this shirt is going to be dark because it's underneath everything else. It's an undershirt, so it has a lot of shadow, as would be appropriate. There. So I don't need a highlight layer for this. It's so much shadow that the base itself becomes the like the highlight. So subtle, just making it subtle. Shirt. Duster. Yeah. Okay, so let's start where the obvious bits are here in the creases, and we'll just build this one out too. Here. Oh, damn it! Wrong layer. Stop before we get into trouble. There we go. Just gonna scratch this in. I can drop. Check this out. I can drop the opacity on this if I don't want that shadow to be as intense. And when we once we finish this this rendering layer, we'll add the texture back in that we were looking at earlier, and then we'll bind the texture and the line art that we have here. We'll burn that into we'll merge the color and the line art into a single layer, and then be able to further manipulate the line art to complement the lighting effects that we have for the rest of the composition, the fabric and stuff like that. So you'll see that here. But I should be able to get this resolved probably today. What is it? 7? Oh yeah, it's only 7 o'clock. Yeah, I got this. We'll probably be able to start on the next piece after this, but I like this. I like this process. This rendering has, for color, it's gone pretty well for me. When it's tokens, simple little tokens like this, the effect ends up being pretty good, and it's not that much work to do it. But I think in future, when I start doing Kickstarter projects off the DMsGuild, I'm going to start working specifically in ink, black and white, to so that I can potentially publish the work, have print on demand for future projects that I work on outside of the DMsGuild. On the DMsGuild, I don't care about printing. It's not important to me at all, because I'm basically just creating ideas for D&D. I don't want to make a hardbound book out of it until I actually start doing my own stuff, and that's Kickstarter type stuff. So once I get to that point, maybe I'd come back to the DMsGuild at some point and do print on demand work, but I'd be fine using ttrpg for print fulfillment in general. So I like the ttrpg team. They treat me really, really well. They legit have kept an eye on the stuff that I do, and they promote my works. I'm thrilled and honored to have that sort of level of interaction with them. It is really impacted the success of a lot of my projects. And Jack and Lisa, when she was there, God bless you guys for helping me with the stuff that I do. It's so kind of you folks to take care of content creators like that. So anyway, whatever that's worth, it's encouraging for me, and I want because of that professional relationship, I want to keep using DTRPG and DMsGuild for stuff where it's relevant. So, and I do want to graduate out of the DMsGuild into my own Kickstarter projects, but I'm not quite there yet. I think the current set of books that I'm working on currently may well be the last that I'm going to publish on the DMsGuild, unless I do more Eberron Adventures. Eberron Adventures will always be on DMsGuild because it's Wizards' own. And if I want to do more Magic the Gathering stuff, I may just make sure that these core books, once these core books are done, I'll have all 13 classes using the color mana system in a unified manner, so that I can reiterate forever, but I can only make use of settings that have been officially published by Wizards. I could use fan content off of my Patreon to build an endless array of expansions and stuff as reasons for folks to support me on Patreon. But I won't be there until I finish the current updates for 2024, and most importantly, the Martial Powers book. That is kind of the feather in the cap, as it were, for completing the project. Oops, I forgot to do the interior sleeve here. There. Duster's looking pretty good. I want to reduce the amount of gloss on it. So I'm going to do what I was talking about. I'm going to use the opacity to drop that down a bit, and now I'm going to use a new layer here for the highlights. Here. I'm going for a sort of light source like up in this direction. Yeah, that feels good. So we can just leave that like that. Go with the duster. Hat. Here we go. I'm pretty happy with that. I like how these things start to pop. That's right. Leather. Thank you. Hat. Damn it. There. Good, and extra layer for the highlights. Good, I want to drop the opacity down here on that hat a bit. I like that. That feels good. There, hat. H-A-T, black. And now leather. There we go. So we're just going to work, we're going to focus on highlights for the leather because the leather itself has such a dark base color. I don't need any shadow work beyond the line art, and you'll see how I'm able to blend the line art later on once we get to that point, which is soon. We're almost at the point where we'll be integrating texture into the color. It's my favorite part. Damn it, I'm coloring directly on it again. So fuck up, Kearney. Alright, whatever. We'll just make it work. So we'll do that. That feels pretty good. There. Next up is star. Every time. What is with my glitch here? I keep using the wrong layer. It's obnoxious. There, like that. Nothing too ornate. And then very subtle, very simple. I know we have this and this. I'm going to find metal. Oh, yeah, that spyglass in the corner here. It's fucking perfect. Nice. face color. Bits. Easy peasy. Base bits color. Like that. There. That feels good. Nice. Skin. Again, this is just comic book shading. It's cell shading. We did the flats to get the general colors put in place, and now we're just going through and adding in highlights and shadows based on the colors that we picked out from the palette for this particular piece, which is, again, the skin color here. Drop that in here like that, and then here. Here like that, like that, like that. Blend it all together. Love that. I love that. Back of the hand, highlights for the muscles on the tendons. Absolutely just love doing those little highlights. It's so fun. Skin. Beard. Let's do the block. And then shadow over here. here. Scraggly bits, push that out, just add a little bit of feel to that. Like that. There we go. Doesn't matter what tools you use, it's just your familiarity and how you can manipulate them to get the effects that you want. Like, I don't need a special brush for rendering clumps of hair like this. I mean, it's pretty easy to do. Chipmunks screaming at each other outside. They're already anxious for the morning peanut supply that I provide. I've got this massive vat of peanuts, and I toss them out a cup, where like a measuring cup of peanuts every day. And one of them brought me a piece of bread. Like, I offer this in return. Thank you, Lord. You guys are awesome. That was so cool. Beard. There's a gap in the hat. There's some little bits sticking out there. You see them? See these little bits here and here? I'm trying to track down where that's coming from. I suspect it's skin. Nope. Nope. Feels like hair, right? It's not. What's going on? It is. It is the fucking hat. It is a gap. Thank you. Oh. That's where that's coming from. I see it now. Cool. Alright, that was a mystery. Mischief managed. Just like everything else. Hey, Timely timer. That's pretty good. Hair. And pipe. This will be the last bits. Not bad. Not bad. And now I just want to fill this. Pipe. We'll blend the again. We'll blend this line art into the smoke so it doesn't look so cartoony. There we go. Like that. This guy looks great. Pipe and smoke. Let's go back down to the shirt. Yeah, that's fucking dope. I'm really, really, really happy with this. So now we're gonna add the texture back, and look at that. Look how the texture just kind of just adds value. So this is where we're at currently. We're going to duplicate the black and white layer and drop that down into the color. We're going to invisible that. We're going to drop the line weight down. And then we'll be able to punch in some highlights when we're done. But for now, I want to duplicate this layer. I'm going to merge that layer down. Hey, Zaz, how you doing? Yeah, it's going really well. I'm very pleased. Very, very pleased. Now we're going to get rid of all the reference stuff. And then we're going to blend the line art into the color since so much of the color is already resolved. Let's see. I'm just gonna start up here. Oh, my belly is angry. I lost about 3 pounds last night. I don't eat a lot during the week, and then I do basically keto during the week, and then on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I can just have whatever meals I want. So I end up gaining a few pounds on the weekend, and then I lose a few pounds again during the week, and I've been stable like around 215 or so. I'm slowly dropping that down to 196. I start to feel really comfortable in my skin around 205, 195 to 205 pounds. I'm 6 foot. I've got a fairly broad frame, so that weight sits comfortably on me. But the process of gaining and losing just the hunger is like the emptiness of the stomach is the Gorellan hunger feel is intense. So I'm gonna push this out a little bit further like that. That's a lot of fucking smoke coming off of this pipe. That is perhaps too much. So I'm gonna blend this in further. I'm gonna erase it there. Blend this in. Like a smokestack. What are you burning in there, buddy? That's intense. It's too much. So I'm blending inward from the white space around it into the smoke to disperse and dull the density of the smoke. There we go. That feels way better. There we are. That feels pretty good. Much better. All right, cool. Let's see what's next. Again, we're mostly here just blending the line art into the texture of the piece. So much of the art that I do is just blending and smudge. I know there's probably a more efficient way to do this. With just using block of color to smear across the piece, but I've always been a smudger, so that's how my style generally works. I'm going to go into the hair and push out into the fabric. Be pushed out of fur and hair. There, like that. From the central mass outward. That's how you get a fluffy tuftedness to it. And I'm going to go over this again with some more really delicate line work to pull little sprigs out. But for the most part, I find this is the way to make fur and hair and stuff like that work well. And the thickness or the density of the line art is directly proportionate to how much shadow there is. Like if it's in shadow, I can have more line because it helps define its shape inside of that shadow. When it's in the highlighted area where there's more light, I want less line art and have the color and contrast carry the composition in the highlights. So line art in dark and less line art in the highlights. There. Smaller, 100%. Zoom in. What time is it? 7:40. Yeah, I've still got a few minutes. Seeing the highlights here, since the light is coming from like over in this direction, I can trim down the line art on the brim here. So I can use that line art. Since I dropped the opacity on it a smidge, it's not true black. See, it has a little bit of color bleeding through, so I can use that to help fill in here like that. Fill in line art space. Smooth out some of these wrinkles. Dark spot, and again, filling, rendering, darkening, using the line art and the grit and the texture that we already have from the previous sketches to help build in the texture of the piece. Then it starts to become self-referential. So it's easy for me to define and pull colors with it. Just go right here. Here. here and grab that color there. I'm going to darken this edge here across the leather. Now I want to grab a highlight. And paint over it. See, make that stand out. And I don't need this line art. The line art. So when I don't have color, these little separators here and these little shapes and stuff help break up the form to give it the same density of detail throughout this piece. So I don't want to have large blank, like the duster can have these large blank areas because it's just a coat that's starting to hang. It's decreasing the amount of line information that's necessary as it kind of like flows away from the character. You want more detail towards the face where the eye is going to really pull in. You want more detail, and then you can relax the amount of detail as you move further away from that central point. So that is what I am in the process of doing here, is blending down and drawing the eye away. We're going to be back today. It's what is it? It's 7:45 here in Seattle. We're going to be back at, I guess, around I want to say around 3 o'clock or so, Seattle time. So that'll be in about 7 hours, from like 3 till 4:30 ish, I believe. I'll be on here, and we're going to start the updates to the martial power system using the 2024 rules. I've been chewing on the new player's handbook, and I think there's some new directions we can go in. I like I was saying earlier, from a design perspective, I like how they're rebuilding and like codifying actions and stuff like that. That's stuff that I can I can lean into to give more spell type, like magic power options for characters in the exploration and the social pillar, and really gamify it and get down into the same level of functionality that the 2024 rules are using. Like as an exploit, spend a point of mana, and you can take the utilize action as an object interaction instead of as an action, or like spend a point of mana as an exploit. You can perform the search action as a bonus action instead of as an actual action, right? To be able to condense the action economy needed to perform these different ability checks is a fun direction that we can go with power options. So instead of having like spells that change the nature of a negotiation or a conversation, we're using our mana instead to manipulate the ability checks that we're using during those conversations. Different style of approach, but I like that idea, and I think there's going to be a lot of ideas like that crop up in the 2024 rules. So I'm looking forward to that. We're going to spend some time doing that today, from like 3 till 4:30 ish. Hey, what time is it? It's 7:50. Okay. I've got a few minutes still. I'm going to just keep picking at this for a little bit. We'll be out of here shortly. So I'll probably pick at this a little bit tomorrow morning before we actually finish. I mean, this thing is essentially done. I'm just being a perfectionist right now, really. So I'll tell you what. I'll give it like 5 minutes, and we'll get to where we're at. And then at the end of that, we'll call this one done, and then we'll move on to the next piece. So we'll do Mayor Jalen tomorrow. The same sort of methodology. Arr! There we go. We'll post this tomorrow when we stream again. We'll show this finished piece, and then we'll start on the next one. I like using my work in progress and posting pieces that I've done to introduce, like, you know, hey, I'm streaming now. I think that gives value aside from just being an annoying, I'm a streamer, come look at me. It's like by attaching the work that I'm actually doing, you can see what I've been actually doing to come check out. And it's a means for me to be able to share the work that I'm doing to get that social media, that dopamine kick of finishing a piece and sharing it with people without derailing myself. So I post what I have done, obviously not what I'm about to do, because it's not done yet. So the stuff that I post is like, this is what I did last time. I'm about to do more stuff now, and I like that. I like that process. Let's darken this up a bit over here. Grab this and darken that up. I'm just going to grab a little spot here. Across like that. That feels really good. And now I'm going to add another layer and drop my opacity down, and I'm just going to do some wisps. And put some wisps in his hair too. Like that. An ear there. Erase at that a little bit to get the lighting going, but I'm pretty happy with that. It's a decent little piece. Darken that up a few ticks. Fix that texturing a little bit here to smooth out the garment. There, that feels pretty good. That feels pretty good. And it is 7:45. At this point, I can probably just call this done. I'm pretty happy with the results. Yeah, cool. There we go. Now I'm going to merge that down. Nice. All right, cool. I'm content. So that is it for now, guys. I'm going to bounce out of here. I am going to... Oh, I can close this one up. Take that and that. We can drop that down into the trash layer. The color can go down into the trash layer. Here's a black, white. Here's our final color. Oh, God, I love doing that. This stuff is fun. Yeah, it's a little dour. I think that's appropriate for the dwarf when we come back and... Put a lock on that. We come back and work on the mare. This is going to be a lot more bright, more bardic colors. So it'll be a nice contrast to the dourness of the dwarf. And then we've got the villagers that we'll do all the artwork for. Here's our generic commoner. And here's a female generic commoner, like very basic, homely nobodies. And then we have something a little bit more exotic looking for the players. Like the more exotic it looks, the more likely it is that the character is supposed to be interacting with it. So kind of feeding that narrative in. But yeah, there we go. So done for the day. We'll work on Jalen when we come back tomorrow. And I'll be back here today in about 7 hours. I'll be back to work on Martial Powers 2024. And then like Thursday night, I might work on like Point Warlocks. I'll be back tomorrow morning for Jalen, and then Friday we'll have her finished. And then today at lunch, tomorrow night, Friday lunch, and then Saturday morning. All my design streams right now are 2024 conversions. So I'll pick a project and I'll start converting it. So that's what we got. That's what we got in store. Folks, like, subscribe, bell icon, blah, blah, blah. I'll see you guys later on today, hopefully. Cheers.